That would be almost a 92% increase in the price of Riot. All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. We're here to talk about all things investing. A little bit about myself. I have a background in accounting. I was a CPA. I've been working with numbers for over 30 years. I've also been trading as a retail investor for the last couple of decades. So my goal on this channel is just to share some of my knowledge with you, and hopefully we make some money along the way. I have a link to our free Discord below, so we would love to have you join us. We have a couple hundred people, and we're starting to have a really good conversation in there, so all are welcome. So again, you can check the link below. Today I want to talk about a Bitcoin miner named RIOT Blockchain, stock ticker RIOT. I want to start by looking at their November update, and they put that out on December 2nd, so that was a few weeks ago now. So let's go through what they had to say. RIOT Blockchain announces November production and operations update. RIOT produced 466 Bitcoin in November 2021 and announces a further increase in the 2022 targeted hash rate. So production updates. First one, in November 2021, RIOT produced 466 Bitcoin, an increase of approximately 298% over November 2020 production of 117 Bitcoin. Also, I want to note, and I will show you a chart later, 466 Bitcoin was the most any of the North American miners mined by far in November. This is the second month in a row that RIOT has produced the most Bitcoin. They've been in either first or second almost every month for the last 6 months anyway. Year to date, through November 2021, the company produced 3,387 Bitcoin. Also, I want to note again, that is the most Bitcoin year to date through November 30th that any North American Bitcoin miner mined. As of November 30th, 2021, RIOT held approximately 4,464 Bitcoin, all produced by the company's self-mining operations. So, well over 4,000 Bitcoin. I believe that puts them in third place out of all the North American miners, but that is a very strong number. It looks like they're hodling somewhere near 100% of the Bitcoin that they mine. Okay, lastly, they say RIOT currently has a deployed fleet of approximately 29,095 miners with a hash rate capacity of 3.0 exahash per second. They began the year with approximately 1 exahash per second, and they have now, as of November, tripled that. So they have been very steadily adding machines, and this is right exactly on their plan. So one of the things that I like about RIOT is they have really executed their plan in 2021. They laid out at the beginning of the year what they planned to do. They've been giving regular updates. They give these monthly production updates, which now a lot of the Bitcoin miners are doing, which I appreciate as an investor. So this company is on track. So again, that's 3.0 exahash. That's the second highest hash rate of any Bitcoin miner in North America. This is a page from their investor relations presentation. This was made on December 9th of this year, so just a few weeks ago. Robust hash rate growth. Since 2019, RIOT has executed multiple long-term purchase orders with Bitmain with the expected monthly deliveries through 2024 Q4. So obviously, the next thing I would say to that is there's no reason to believe that they're done buying machines. They're already hashing at 3 exahash. They've got machines purchase ordered to get them to 9 exahash, and we don't know where they'll go. Obviously, all these Bitcoin miners are grabbing machines as fast as they reasonably can. So this is their plan right now. 9 exahash would keep them in the hunt as one of the largest miners. Just to put it in perspective, there's 2 or 3 other companies that do have plans in 2022 to go past 9 exahash. So a few of the things that RIOT has going in their favor. This is also from their corporate investor presentation made this December. A leader in developed capacity. So this chart is showing developed capacity by year-end 2021 in megawatts. So Bitcoin takes a lot of energy to mine. These mining rigs use a lot of energy. So it is important to have a combination of both a sufficient amount of energy and a reasonable cost of energy so that you're making money as you're mining Bitcoin. Let's first talk about supply. They have a list of all of the publicly traded North American mining companies, and this is their developed capacity. Now, Core Scientific is at 512 megawatts. Core Scientific is currently merging with a SPAC, so they have not yet technically gone public. However, that is imminent. They are a huge player in this game. They do an awful lot of hosting, but they also do mine Bitcoin themselves. So that will be another contender that they have to deal with next year. And you can see they have a massive supply. But in second place is Riot with 350 megawatts. And you'll see that third place is a very distant 144 megawatts, which is Hut 8. And again, this is not a knock against any of these companies. I own a pretty diverse basket of Bitcoin miners, so I own a lot of the companies on this page. They all have different merits, but as we look at energy capacity, you'll see that Riot has a giant lead. So when we look at the 3 exahash that they're doing right now and the 9 exahash that they plan to do next year, this 350 megawatts of capacity will allow for significantly more than 9 exahash. So that gives them the room to continue to expand in 2022 past the current plans that they have disclosed to their investors. Okay, so the other half of this equation is cost of production. So we talked about you need a sufficient supply of energy. Well, you also need a cost-effective supply of energy. Again, they go through a list of several of the publicly traded companies, and you'll see this is power cost per megawatt hour. On this chart, they have the second cheapest power cost of all of these companies. So all of these costs are quite reasonable, and all of the Bitcoin miners have done a good job reducing their costs and creating large gross profit margins. It's just that Riot has done a better job than most. So the lower your energy costs, the higher your gross profit margin, and as a function of that, the higher your net income is going to be. So this is a very good combination of a giant supply of energy and at a reasonable cost. So you'll see here they say third quarter average net power cost for Riot self-mining at Whinstone was 2.4 cents per kilowatt hour. So most of these companies range somewhere from about 2.2 cents to about 4.5 cents per kilowatt. And I will tell you that is less by far than all of them were at in the prior year. So like I said, everybody's done a good job of reducing their costs, but Riot has done a little bit better than the group. So quickly, we talked about this, but I want to take a look at this is self-mined Bitcoin production for all of the North American Bitcoin miners. So you'll see Riot is in first place out of every single miner. They have mined 3,387 Bitcoin, and that is through November 30th. So the main thing I wanted to point out on this slide is that although Riot and Marathon have had very similar hash rates all year, in fact, at the moment, Marathon is at 3.2 exahash per second and Riot is at 3.0 exahash per second, you'll see that from an operational standpoint, Riot's machines have been much more efficient than Marathon's so far year to date. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I will do a separate video on Marathon. I just want to reiterate that Riot has been extremely efficient. So they've mined more Bitcoin than anybody. They've mined it at a lower cost than almost anybody. So they are having a very successful year from an operations standpoint. So with all that said, let's take a quick look at the chart. Riot closed the day at $23.62. If you go back, I have a purple line here that was support for Riot for a significant period of time. This is our September 29th date right here, which was the end of the bear run for Bitcoin in the month of September. So you'll see at that point on September 29th, Bitcoin was trading for $41.5 thousand. And you can see it touched this line of support several other times until it broke out to a recent high just a few days later than Bitcoin hit its all-time high. What I wanted to point out is you'll see that Riot bottomed out a few days ago on Monday. Monday evening, there was a big run-up in Bitcoin, so most of the miners did hit a recent bottom on or around December 20th. So Riot did as well. Riot got down to $21.76. So it's at $23.62 right now. That is still below its long-term line of support at around $25. And again, it was at $25 was when Bitcoin was very near $40,000. So Riot is in a very oversold state. And the reason I say that is you can see operationally, Riot just keeps getting better and better. They are the leader by far in Bitcoin production. So with all that said, at the end of the day today, Riot closed at $23.62. And what I want to show you is their market cap is $2.75 billion. Riot's market cap was over $6 billion in February of this year. It was over $4 billion just last month in November. So this thing has been pretty much cut in half, despite the fact that their November operations were spectacular. So going back to the chart, that is why I really feel that this is very oversold. I'm just going to go through a couple of quick numbers and wrap this up for you. If Riot were to go from where it closed today back to its price on December 3rd, just before the Bitcoin flash crash, that would be a 45% increase in the price of Riot. So that's 45 potential upside in what I think could be a fairly short window of time. I'm talking about a month or less. So secondly, I just want to look at if Riot got back to its price on December 1st, and there's been virtually no change in Riot's value. If anything, they've increased their value over that period of time. So there's no reason I can't see them getting back to where they were just 3 weeks ago. That would be a 70% increase in Riot's price. And then lastly, if they were to get back to their recent high, and again, I say their recent high because this is by no means their all-time high. They were actually much higher in February and March and April of this year. But this was their recent high. They hit this approximately when Bitcoin hit its all-time high in November. So if they were to get back to that, that would be almost a 92% increase in the price of Riot. So you can see, I like to talk about risk reward on these. The upside of this looks like 45, potentially 45 or 70 or 90% increase. And the downside, you can see Riot is sitting very near its lows for the last 6 months. So again, risk reward seems very good on this one to me. This is not financial advice. You guys need to make your own decision and decide if this works in your portfolio and if now is the right time to buy for you. But those are my thoughts on Riot. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can sign up for free in the link below to the Discord, so we would love to have you. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next video.